I think not enough people are discussing this, because for the most part, nobody really knows this information. Even Sony fans, and it's pretty important, not only for the future of Sony, but the grand scope of gaming in general. Before we start, let me explain that I like Sony, a lot in fact. I've always liked the PlayStation brand, and Sony is probably the technology company I like the most. And I don't want to see Sony disappear or go bankrupt, but I think we need to brace ourselves for it. Sony has been losing money for a while, because even though PlayStation's been making money recently, Sony has not. Sony CEO Kazuo Hirai has announced that Sony are going to sell their Vaio line of PCs, resulting in a loss of 5,000 jobs. This was done after Sony predicted a $1.1 billion loss for this fiscal year, and after their credit rating was announced to be, quote, junk. Now, this is pretty dire. This is a huge loss, more so than Nintendo predicted this year, and yet some fucking idiots thought Nintendo was screwed. But more on that later. Sony have been losing money for years, blamed on their inability to move into the digital age. I agree with this. In the 80s and 90s, Sony was the king of technology. Their TVs, the PlayStation brand, Walkmans, to name a few, were the iPhones and S4s of the day. But as they transitioned into the new millennium, they kind of fell behind. Yes, the PlayStation 2 was a smash hit, but Sony's inability to adapt to the digital age really hurt them. They began to fall while companies like Apple and Samsung began to rise. Sony used to be the shit, and now they're in the shit. A lot of people thought Sony was doing great because the PS4 is selling well. But the problem is that Sony isn't just PlayStation, which is something a lot of Sony fanboys don't seem to understand. Sony is a big company, a really big company. They have computers, smartphones, tablets, TVs, and they even own Columbia Pictures, most of which have been doing absolutely terrible. The thing that pisses me off the most is that these people are in denial. They tell themselves Sony are doing really well, when facts say that they aren't at all. And the fact that they choose not to inform themselves about this is retarded, because this matters. This will affect your gaming experience in one way or another, no matter what you say. I mean, why do you think PlayStation Plus costs money now? I think Sony is starting to turn their stuff around. PlayStation has become profitable and their phones and tablets are starting to do better, but they're still in a bad position. And I think we need to start considering whether Sony will be around in a few years. If Sony is gone, PlayStation could very well disappear if it's not sold off. And if it does, the effects will be devastating. And I don't care what Microsoft fanboys say, if Sony exits the gaming business, nobody wins. Not Sony, not Microsoft, not the publishers, and most importantly, not you. I think if PlayStation falls, the industry will crash, because a crash has been a long time coming, and if one thing sets it off, then everything's gonna come falling down. Look at how much shit has just been pissing off gamers everywhere recently. If one of the big three disappears, gaming will be fucked for quite a while, and I don't want to see Sony go bankrupt. PlayStation's one of my platforms of choice, and they have a lot of great first-party franchises like Uncharted and Infamous, and just imagine the industry without PlayStation. It just wouldn't feel the same. They've been around for so long that if they disappeared, it just wouldn't feel the same. We're going to see people damage control this situation and be in denial, but I don't care what people say. Because, in all seriousness, Sony is in big trouble.